Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Okay, no intro. And let me tell you why no intro. Because I had a whole song planned for today. I was going to sing, "Take me home, country roads, to the place I belong, Indiana, mountain mama." Not really. But anyway, I had the whole song planned out. I had a new song that I was going to sing because I was listening to a little John Denver this morning, this afternoon, while I was getting ready for this video. And so I was going to do this whole intro and all this kind of stuff. And I started the intro, and I don't know why. I don't know why it doesn't occur to so many of you, but I was like, this intro is so old and so dated. I have been doing this intro. I've been doing this intro for 8 years now, okay? 8 years. Hey, you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Peace. Peekaboo. I'm just like, this is so dumb. Why do I keep on doing this intro every single day? But here's the thing about the intro. Here's the thing, right? If I don't do the intro, okay, there are people that say, I missed the intro. Where was the intro today? Like, I always do the intro with you. And then if I do the intro, then there are people that are like, oh my God, I cannot stand that intro. I always fast forward through that intro. So I don't know what to do. I don't know. I feel like coming into 2025, I need to come up with a new intro. Should I come up with a new intro? Should I come up with a new intro? I know this is like, I can talk about this entire James Charles scandal that's going on. Scandal. It's hardly that. I mean, but I'm going to talk about this whole James Charles thing today. And the majority of the comments will be about my intro. Watch. So, should I keep the intro? Should I get rid of the intro and just say, hey, you guys, let's talk about the drama? Or should I come up with a new intro? You guys decide. And in 2025, we're going to do all that. So anyway, how are you guys doing today? I'm still a little bit under the weather. I'm still not feeling great. My husband texted me earlier and he said that 2 people are out from work. Apparently something's going around and apparently I've caught it. I'm just not really feeling that great. But we're going to push through. I'm going to film a couple videos today and then I'm going to relax tonight. So, I wanted to talk about this James Charles situation that was sent to me. The more I looked into it, it was very, very interesting kind of where it went for me as I looked into it a little bit more. At first, I just was kind of like, oh. And that's kind of when I look at a lot of this drama, often it's very surface level at first, right? And then when you look underneath it, it's kind of like, oh, well, this is interesting, and this is what's going on here, and all this kind of stuff. So let me tell you what happened. Yesterday, I was sent by a few people. I was sent the link to Entertainment Tonight's Instagram, and on there they have a reel of James Charles at the Gladiator premiere. Okay, and I'll put a picture of it somewhere in here. But anyway, they have this reel on there, and underneath it, the comments are not good in favor of James Charles. And I will read you some of the comments in just a second. And so I'm like looking at it, and because I'm the investigator. I'm the investigator of the world when it comes to drama. So I'm looking at it, and at first it was kind of interesting to me, right? Because I like looked at the pictures on either side, and I was like, they didn't really post a lot about the Gladiator premiere, you know? Entertainment Tonight has been around forever. I think I watched them in high school and things like that. I mean, they're, you know, a well-known entertainment, like, coverage brand, right? Like, I think we know that. And so I was kind of surprised, like, who they picked and choose to talk about over on their Entertainment Tonight Instagram, which we'll get to in just a second. And I thought, this is an interesting choice that out of all the celebrities that were at the Gladiator premiere, that they focused on James Charles. I was like, that was the first thing I noticed, okay? Because when you go into their Instagram account, so let me see, I have it pulled up right here. When you go into Entertainment Tonight's Instagram account, right here, which I know you can't see, it says Entertainment Tonight, entertainment begins and ends with ET. Watch weeknights and read more at ET Online. And they have 5.9 million followers, and they follow 1,386 people, okay? And so, just for example, when you go underneath here, like their top stories, well, not their top stories, their newest stories are, and they just kind of like, they'll post a story on here with like a picture. So their first story is, Sydney Sweeney from Euphoria and movies and things like that shows off driving skills from behind the wheel of a NASCAR race car. And then the next one is Denzel Washington reacts to a sexted NEH title. All right. And the next one is Nicole Kidman sets record straight on viral Tom Cruise divorce meme. And then it goes in, it's talking about Ariana Grande. And then there is one about Rosanna Pansino on here. YouTuber Rosanna Pansino smokes her father's ashes to honor his dying wish, which a lot of people have asked me to talk about. I don't really have a whole lot of desire to talk about that over here. If you guys want me to, I can. I saw the story up a couple days ago. That's actually getting a lot of attention. But it kind of surprised me even that, I mean, she's been in TV shows and stuff like that. So the fact that Rosanna Pansino is covered Entertainment Tonight, that doesn't surprise me as much because she's been in mainstream media, okay? So when you go down here, and then it goes in, and it's talking about Paul Mescal, and then it has Pamela Anderson, Sabrina Carter. I mean, it's like talking about Kevin Costner. I mean, I'm just going right down. Snoop Dogg. I mean, we're talking Denzel Washington again arrives to the Gladiator 2 premiere. I mean, they're talking about all these different people. They're doing, the Timothée Chalamet is playing Bob Dylan in a biopic that they're doing about him, and Paul Mescal again, and Zendaya. I mean, it has, and all these different people that they have on here, and they don't have a lot of people that are at this Gladiator premiere. A couple, the Ariana Grande at the Wicked premiere, and then all of a sudden it's James Charles at the Gladiator premiere. And underneath here it says James Charles understood the assignment, and then it has like this emoji. The star walked the Gladiator 2 carpet in theme. Okay. And then when you read the comments, which is why it was sent to me, the comments underneath here are interesting at best. The top comment: didn't he allegedly message minors? It has 137 likes on it. This is the top comment underneath the picture, okay? And somebody said, yes, not allegedly. He literally admitted it. Oh, that was confirmed. And then it goes on. Somebody said, can we cancel him already? And there's 13 replies to that one. I thought he already was. Somebody said yes. It goes on and on and on. Somebody said, why are you guys still indulging this fellow to the internet? Nobody cares about him anymore, especially after his admissions. And then it goes on and says, a star, question mark, question mark, question mark, please. Somebody said, I mean, I'm literally reading these straight down, okay? Didn't he get busted with little kids? Why aren't they shunning him? Why is he still relevant? Somebody said, why are we giving him a platform? I'm literally reading these straight down off of Entertainment Tonight's Instagram account, okay? Somebody said he admitted to messaging underage guys for explicit acts, favors along with pictures and videos. Stop giving him a platform. Somebody said maybe we shouldn't be giving a platform to someone who admitted to being inappropriate with minors because he was desperate. Somebody said I thought he was canceled. I thought they had stopped inviting him. Somebody said no idea who he is because he's not that famous of a celebrity for Entertainment Tonight to post on their Instagram, which I thought was interesting to begin with, right? Somebody said he should be at the Predator premiere. Somebody said him still being supported by... So apparently it's not just Peter Monn that has an issue with James Charles. Apparently a lot of people do, okay? Which feeds into me wondering, how is James Charles selling out of makeup? How is he getting invited to all these things? I mean, if this was anybody else, and we'll get to that in just a second, if this was anybody else, they wouldn't be invited to these things. Unless we just don't care about predators that self-admit that they have hurt minors. If we don't care about that, I guess, in 2024, all right? Which is why we're inviting people like Colleen Ballinger to speak at schools and James Charles to be on the red carpet. We have seen people blacklisted from Hollywood for a lot less than what James Charles did. And that's just the truth, okay? One of the reasons why I continue to make videos about James Charles is I think that people have this misconception that, like, I have this hatred for James Charles. I don't really have any emotional attachment to James Charles. The reason why I continue to talk about it is because I think it's important to continue to educate people, because the further that these things happen, like red carpet events that he shows up to, celebrities using his makeup, things like that, people collabing with him to get relevance, the more that we get further away from the event, and then we forget what happened, right? And that's one of the reasons why I continue to make videos about it. The second reason that I make videos about it is because I'm completely baffled and confused as to why anybody is giving James Charles over other people, okay, a platform. I mean, there's only a certain amount of people that are invited to a premiere like Gladiator. Why James Charles? Why is James Charles invited to this? There's only a certain amount of people that they're writing about in Entertainment Tonight. Why are we showing James Charles? It's interesting to me. It's an interesting choice, right? When you have, like, Denzel Washington was at the same premiere, they showed him. I have to believe I mean, they didn't show 10 pictures of celebrities at the Gladiator, so they picked and chose who they showed at the Gladiator premiere on Entertainment Tonight's Instagram. And one of the 2 people that they chose to show was James Charles, and then the second one was Denzel Washington. I don't know that I think that Denzel Washington and James Charles are even in the same list of celebrities, okay? I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that, but, I mean, Oscar winner compared to James Charles, who's a predator and has got famous on YouTube and used mirrors to fake his way to the top and did some really smart collabs with people and then started his own makeup line and wears assless chaps to Coachella. I'm not really sure why, like, how we're comparing those 2 and putting them in the same category. So it's interesting to me, but if you keep on reading the comments, other people on here are confused as well. Why is he there? LOL. Low-class Hollywood right there. Dear Lord, help us all. I thought he got canceled. Why is he still relevant? He admitted to messaging inappropriately with minors. Can't stand him. Holly weird. This guy is boring. The vomiting emojis. They're going on about he was like bobbing his head through the whole thing. Keep promoting predators. I mean, vomiting emojis, angry emojis. This dude, question mark with vomiting things. Now, look what actually happened to Hollywood. I'm confused. Why was he even there? Entertainment Tonight, do better, for real. What is that? I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Why is he at the Gladiator premiere? Was he in it? He was not in the Gladiator movie. This guy messaged minors. When did we all forget that? Somebody said gross. It said it's giving Snapchat with children. Stop it. Boring. He creeps me out. I mean, literally, I'm reading every comment straight down. Okay, you guys? Why are you at this event? This is out of your area. Wow, canceled. How did this guy get uncanceled? He must be a magician. The star, question mark. It goes on and on and on. Oh my God, who isn't he, the P word? Who is this buffoon? Why is he there? It goes on and on and on. Why is he there? This is disgusting. I will not be supporting or watching this movie, knowing the kinds of people that are working in Hollywood, probably all on that Diddy list. And I think that that's really interesting that that's brought up, right? The Diddy list and all of the stuff that's coming out about Diddy and all of the people that are associated with that, right? And that's a completely separate issue. But it is interesting to me that, and I've said this for a long time. I've said this with James Charles. I've said this with Colleen Ballinger. I've said this with other people, right? Is that if enough time goes by, right? Like, people ask all the time, like, how is James Charles uncanceled? Well, I don't know that I think that James Charles was really ever canceled to begin with. I don't think my definition of canceled is when, like, you are getting no views in your videos, nobody's inviting you to any events, nobody's liking your pictures. You literally have to leave Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, because people are coming for you on a regular basis. Did that ever happen for James Charles? Now, I know he lost like 3 million subscribers and then gained it back like 2 days later, right? But did James Charles ever, like, did he lose his house? I mean, I know he bought a house for his parents and he has a $10 million home. I know that from the Cosmopolitan article. So did he lose his home in California? I think what James Charles did was he took 6 months off to work on being desperate, because that was why he said he was reaching out to minors, was that he was desperate. So he took 6 months off, and during that time he went to Camp Coachella with his friends, okay? He has said here and there that he's talked to professionals, but we don't know what kind of professionals those are. Those might be professional lip fillers, okay? For all we know, that those might be professional plastic surgeons, those might be professional dentists, we don't know. He said he's talked to professionals. So we have no idea. And I guess that because people like James Charles, or people like the people that surround James Charles, that we are okay with the fact that James Charles has, they're not even allegations, because he came out and admitted to it, right? So he confirmed them. They're like this person said in here, right? And it's interesting to me because whenever I talk about James Charles, and I talk about the people surrounding him, okay, people come real hard for me, and they're like, oh my God, here Peter is going off about this again. Well, here's hundreds of people underneath Entertainment Tonight saying that they're not going to go see the Gladiator movie, and they're not going to continue to endorse Entertainment Tonight. Okay, so what you would call Entertainment Tonight platforming James Charles is, you would basically call them, what I've called other people, predator protectors, because they're platforming somebody that's a self-admitted predator. Which is why people are saying, I'm not going to do that. It's interesting to me because we live in the world, right, where, because people will say things like, Well, if it was really true, if it was really that bad, then he would be arrested and he would be sitting in jail right now. I don't think people really understand the justice system, okay, and how it works. And that some people have gone and reported things about assault situations that have happened to them multiple times, and the justice system has done absolutely nothing for them, okay? The police don't take them seriously. Nothing happens, right? And maybe a lot of people, because of the shame and the stigma that goes along with abuse victims, maybe a lot of people don't want to come out and report what's happened to them because they see what happens to abuse victims that they're not taken seriously, right? So it's kind of an ignorant stance when people say that. Like, if there was any truth to it, then James Charles would be sitting behind bars, right? That's kind of an ignorant stance because the reality is James Charles came out in a video, okay, and his taking accountability video, and he admitted that he said his victims in there, and he apologized to them. So he, on an international platform, apologized to 2 minors that he was having inappropriate conversations with. Okay, he admitted to that. And yet, he's been invited to the Met Gala since then. He's invited to red carpet events. What's baffling to me about this, okay, in the world that we live in today, is that if this were Chick-fil-A or Starbucks or something like that, or McDonald's or Dollar Tree or whatever, people would stop going there and using their services. We live in a boycott society today where if somebody's belief system doesn't align with yours, then you would boycott them, right? So I have to believe that the people that are continuing to support James Charles, I won't even use the word predator protector, I'll just say supportive, okay? That his supportive friends and the people that continue to do collaborations with him, the people that continue to invite him to red carpet events like Gladiator, the people that continue to platform him like Entertainment Tonight are supportive and believe the same things that James Charles believes, okay? That his actions were okay. He's come out later and he's made jokes about it. He's put up the birthday cake of saying, Andrew did it at my birthday dinner, okay, which was what Toddy Westbrook said when she came out with her initial video. And so apparently it's now a joke, okay? Daniel Prada, his close friend, he posted that on his Instagram account, so Daniel Prada thinks that's a joke. And so, you know, it's like, and I said this about Colleen Ballinger because we saw the same thing happen with James Charles, right? We saw that James Charles, over time, turned the allegations into a joke. He turned to Toddy Westbrook, bringing this very serious thing up, right? Where she said, and you feel like you can hit on anybody and you can have anybody, and you did it at my birthday dinner, right? And similarly enough, it's like we have, you know, Jeffree Star in interviews with Tana Mojo and other people talking about he only likes straight, you know, straight NFL players or whatever he said, which is very much what James Charles has done. I don't know why people don't take an issue with Jeffree Star. They take an issue with James Charles for having hit on multiple heterosexual men that did not want those advances whatsoever. Now, as a gay man, I've said this for years and years and years, like, that has, like, that kind of plays into the straight fetish fantasy, and it's not a good look. But James Charles has done that, and people have come out and said, he made me feel uncomfortable. Jeffree Star gets in a podcast and owns it and says, no, I'm attracted to straight men. Well, the weirdness about that is that straight, like, I think that there's like this gay fantasy that straight men, if they could be, first of all, a truly heterosexual man, okay, is not interested in having any kind of sexual interaction with a man of the same sex, right? So then that would indicate that they're not truly straight, that they're bisexual, or, you know, they're somewhere on the sexuality spectrum, or that they're gay, right? It's not that they're straight they're on their DL. That's kind of like an 1980s mentality of like Oprah Winfrey shows and stuff like that. Like, you know, somebody on the DL. That's not really today. I mean, when we know about, like, you know, the spectrum of sexuality and things like that. So when Jeffree Star comes out and he says, I'm interested in straight NFL players or straight rappers or whatever he said on there, okay? They're not really that straight if they're hooking up with Jeffree Star. They're just not, okay? And so what it does is it plays into this fantasy that every straight man can be had. Well, that's kind of a dangerous fantasy, okay? That if a straight guy maybe, like, has enough to drink or something like that, then maybe he'll go a little bit gay. Now, if that were, we were talking about women that were that way, okay, that it would be a completely different story. I don't understand why people, when I talk about it and other people talk about it, don't see the seriousness of these situations, okay? That not only does James Charles have these 2 allegations, minimum of 2 allegations, okay, against minors, but he has multiple allegations that men have come out and said, I felt very uncomfortable about James Charles, just in the last year, okay, it has come out, these allegations have come out. So, I'm not really sure why Entertainment Tonight and people like that are platforming him. Now, you do what you want to do, okay? But when we live in this world of boycott society, people want to ask, why does James Charles still have a platform? Well, James Charles still has a platform because he has people around him that continue to support him, okay? He has a lot of friends that are very influential and have a lot of power. He has a PR team that's trying to get him. He didn't, I don't think, for years, but then he came out in the Cosmopolitan article and said, my PR team worked very hard to get me back on red carpets. So he has a PR team that's, I don't think, trying to correct his image at all, but trying to get him onto PR invite lists and things like that, okay? And it's obviously working for him because he's getting invited to red carpet things. And then Entertainment Tonight is posting his picture on here. Now, what I thought was interesting about Entertainment Tonight, with all of these comments under here, okay, that Entertainment Tonight next to Denzel Washington, Nicole Kidman, apparently they felt like James Charles is in the same realm of I guess, celebrity curiosity as Nicole Kidman, Zendaya, Denzel Washington, all these other people, that Sydney Sweeney even. I mean, I don't think James Charles fits into that group whatsoever, right? So then the only reason that you would post James Charles' picture is because you want to get views and likes on Entertainment Tonight's Instagram, was that you would want to get a lot of attention off of that. So the only reason that you would, because James Charles is not a celebrity like those people, the only reason that you would want to post James Charles' picture is because you know, maybe, possibly, that you're going to get a lot of negativity and it's going to bring a lot of attention to Entertainment Tonight by posting the picture and the reel of him at the Gladiator event. So maybe that's why Entertainment Tonight did it. So then Entertainment Tonight is using James Charles' self-proclaimed allegations of abusing minors to get attention for their page. I don't know about that, okay? But I just think it's a weird choice that they even chose to do it over there, right? But in this boycott society that we live in, where people want to say, how does James Charles even have a platform today? I don't know. Ask the people surrounding him. Ask the Gladiator movie. Ask Entertainment Tonight. Ask them why they're platforming him. Ask Gladiator why they're inviting him. Ask the Met Gala why they're inviting him to the Met Gala. You know, ask the stores that sell James Charles makeup, why are you selling James Charles makeup? Ask the celebrities. You know, people have banned celebrities for a lot less, okay? Ask your celebrities, why are you using James Charles makeup? When he posts those things that, oh, the celebrity artist used my makeup, ask them. You know, this is the reason why I came in. I was not the one that came up with the term predator protector. I think people think that I came up with that term. I did not come up with that term. But that's one of the reasons why I talked about the people that were surrounding him. Because the people that were surrounding him were the people that were protecting him from being canceled, okay? Because if somebody that has some relevance and people see as a good person is standing next to James Charles, then they'll say, well, if that person sees that he's an okay person, then maybe he is an okay person, right? So, I don't know, it's weird to me that in this boycott society that we don't, you know, live this way. But I will say this, what's interesting to me is, now, I don't know if there's any truth to this whatsoever, but I have heard that, that Oscar, who is Trisha Paytas's podcast host on the Just Trish podcast, is, I guess, I've heard allegedly that he has a lot to do with Entertainment Tonight social media. Which is interesting because when I went to the 1,300 people that they follow on here, Oscar is one of the people that they follow. And when you go to Oscar's, Instagram account, over here, Oscar Gracie, it says Chronically Unserious at Entertainment Tonight and the Just Trish Pod. So apparently he still works. I don't know if he says that on the Just Trish podcast. I don't know if he said what he does. But it would be interesting to me that somebody that's on that podcast, that they've taken pretty serious stances against. I'm not saying that he is the sole person in charge of being in control of what Entertainment Tonight says, but he is somebody that has his finger on the pulse of trends. He is very fully aware of what James Charles has done, okay? Very fully aware of that. They've talked about it on the podcast and whatever. Now, I don't know if he has anything to do with the social media or whatsoever, but I would think that Oscar, who is somebody that is constantly talking about what's problematic on the Just Trish podcast, that he might want to tell Entertainment Tonight that this is probably problematic, that they're platforming a pedophile, right? Especially since Trisha Paytas has taken such a stance against Colleen Ballinger, okay? And James Charles came out in a self-admitted video. So I don't know, but I think that that's weird, okay? I think that's weird. If I worked for Entertainment Tonight and I saw this come up, I would immediately call the person that was in charge of social media and say, you need to take this down, okay? This is a bad look. We cannot continue to support predators. Why do you have this on here? You know, next to all these other people. I mean, it's bizarre. The choices that they make on here are bizarre, right? So then it's like, okay, well, is Entertainment Tonight knowingly making a choice to platform a predator? And our PR team's actively working on getting James Charles on red carpet, so we're trying to rewrite history. This is why when drama channels talk about rewriting history, it's really important, okay? And for years and years and years that people have wanted to make jokes about drama channels, and yes, we are foolish. I totally understand that, okay? We are the bottom of the barrel when it comes to YouTube. I get it, right? But one of the purposes that we have served through the years is to never forget history the way that it happened. And we were all there when it happened. We remembered, right? And so as James Charles wants to rewrite history and he wants to show up at the Gladiator, premiere and show up to other things, and this is a proud moment for him, I have to feel, there's a part of me that feels like at some point, like somebody's going to say enough is enough. I think that a lot of people, like the person that asked in the comment section here, like, wasn't he canceled already? Like, why are we still inviting him to things? I think that's the interesting thing, right? But there will be a moment in time where James Charles gets an opportunity with some company. There will be something that he does, right? Where the backlash is so bad against the company that he works with or whoever's selling his makeup or whatever happens. I have to believe that there's already been a lot of lost opportunities for James Charles. I have to believe that, right? I think that there's a lot of stores that will never carry any makeup by him. I mean, I was kind of surprised that after all of it, that Ulta continued to carry his, Morphe palette and things like that. I was baffled by that. But, it's just interesting to me. I think that there's probably been a lot of missed opportunities. It's one of the reasons why I think that a lot of James Charles coming out and saying that he has sold all this makeup and his views, I'm starting to wonder, okay? Because I've clocked this with other people. When you look at their views and their subscriber count and it doesn't match up, I'm starting to wonder if a lot with James Charles is not all smoke and mirrors. I'm not entirely sure that he's not spending his money to make it look that his life is a certain way when it's another certain way. Because if these are all the comments that he's getting, I mean, it's just one, you could go read it yourself, please do. One after another on the Entertainment Tonight Instagram, one after another, after another, after another. They're not deleting comments. There was literally not one positive comment about James Charles on there. Not one comment, like, I love James Charles. There's nothing about that on there, right? So it's baffling to me that everywhere else, people love James Charles, but when a third party posts a picture of him, people are like, the people that know who he is, are like, wasn't he canceled? Why are we still platforming him? So then it makes you wonder if the rest of it isn't all just smoke and mirrors to make it look like he's actually selling a lot more, making a lot more money, getting a lot more views and likes. We live in a world where we know it's very easy to fake all that, right? I don't know. Is he? I don't know. You guys would have to figure that out. I got TV shows to watch. But anyway, let me know what you think about all that. And actually, I'd be interested to know this too. In this world that we live in, right? When people want to take such a strong stance and they say, well, I don't understand why he still has a platform. What does it take for you guys to say, I'm not going to watch this person anymore. I'm not going to watch somebody if they align themselves with this person. I'm not going to buy products at this store and things like that. I would be interested to know, where's the line in the sand? And don't you think that each of those issues are personal to each of us? Each of us, we might do one thing because that's not a huge issue to us, but other than that. So maybe what the issue is that in 2024, predators aren't really that big of an issue to most people. I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.